Good morning. I'm popping in here with a little bit more courage and a little bit more bravery with doing some of my cooking demonstrations because I want to show you simple solutions to eating healthy and having meals ready for when you get home at the end of the day. So I found this recipe and it's for slow cooker pizza. I haven't made it yet. This is my first time, so bear with me as I'm learning, but it was pretty simple to put together. So first, the hardest part that I had to do again was chopping the cauliflower and browning the ground beef. So I browned the ground beef and I added to it salt, pepper, and onion powder. I think it was a teaspoon of onion powder. So I'm gonna grab that. And that's already pre-ground. And I'm just gonna pour it into a bowl because it's having me stir all of the ingredients together before I put it in the slow cooker. So I had a pound of very lean, 93% lean ground beef. You take off any of the fat that was in there after you brown it, so that there's not in there. And then to this ground beef mixture, I am going to be adding a teaspoon of oregano leaves, and a teaspoon of basil leaves. It's really neat when you live across the river from the Watkins company and you can buy the Watkins spices right at your local grocery store. Kind of nice having that locally done here at the Watkins if you guys are not familiar. So it's nice having them right nearby. And 2 cups, which I previously chopped, and it said rough chopped. I have no clue what rough chop means, so I cut them rough chopped to my interpretation, about the size of my hamburger, which is not finely ground today, so that they're kind of even pieces, I suppose, to the ground hamburger. And it kind of looks like that. So it's just kind of chopped, is rough chop. It wasn't finely. So that was my interpretation. Everybody gets to have their own interpretation of some of that stuff. And then I have 2 cups of marinara sauce, and it calls for approved marinara sauce. And what I have found is I'm looking for low sodium, low sugar marinara sauce. And so I found at my local grocery store, and I think it's a Heidi brand, and it's called Gustavere Vita from Italy. And honestly, the reason why I buy it is it's priced really reasonable, and there's low sodium, total carbs are 4, and then total sugars is 4 grams. And I'd like to find things that are 5 grams of sugar or less. That kind of is a profile that I look for when I'm shopping for things that I'm using in recipes. I try to find little low sodium or no sodium product, and I try to really pay attention to the sugar in the foods that I purchase now. It's something I never paid attention to before, but I don't know about you, but what I've been learning along my own personal journey is there's a lot of sugar hidden in food. And if I'm more attentive to what I'm purchasing at the grocery store, I can really help keep my sugar intake at bay, or at least be really mindful of it. So when it's all mixed together, it kind of is really pretty looking. And I'm going to double check to make, oh yeah. And then it says to add 1, so its total recipe is 2 ounces of sliced turkey pepperoni. I'm using 1 ounce of that chopped into the quarters into this that's going to go in the recipe. And then a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And then I'm just going to keep stirring this up so that it's nicely mixed together. And my guess is that you probably could put this together in the evening and put it on in the morning when you're on your way out the door. I happen to be home, so I can put this on and cook it in my slow cooker today while I'm home, and my house will smell really good. And it does smell like pizza already, the aroma. Who doesn't love pizza? I'm just learning to eat it low carb and still get the flavors. I guess that's what, you know, most of us, it's the flavors that we fall in love with. And I have found that using different ingredients, you really trick the brain. You're still getting the aromas and the flavors and the yumminess of it without all the extra carbs in our body. So I'm just gonna double check, make sure I did everything right. I got the oregano, the basil, cauliflower, Parmesan cheese, marinara sauce, the turkey pepperoni, and mix it till it's combined, and then pour it into my slow cooker, which I did spray with my cooking spray so that it will not stick. And now I'm just gonna pour it into my slow cooker. You guys have to know something about me. I'm really nervous right now and I'm kind of laughing. You remember 7th grade English where we had to give speeches, like demonstration speeches, and maybe we did it again in high school, and I would always be literally sick to my stomach just thinking about it. And today I'm thinking, look at you, Cory. You're doing live demonstrations on how to make something, anything, right? Never would have thought that would be me. I was never confident enough in myself to think that I could share anything. But here it is, ready to go, ready to go. And this evening, I am gonna take it when it's done and I'm gonna put it in my pan and I'm gonna top it with 1.5 cups of mozzarella. And the other ounces, you just spread them on the top. So I'm actually gonna pour this into a pretty casserole pan this evening and finish baking it, melting the cheese on the top in my oven, just so it's pretty. But you could put the cheese and pepperoni right on here and eat it out of here too. Just depends on how convenient or easy you want. And I'm making this for our meal tomorrow, actually. So I'm just preparing it today so that's our dinner tomorrow night. So I'm a day ahead, but making this work. And thank you for taking the few minutes out to get this recipe. And I'm just gonna read what was in here. It was 1 pound of ground beef, garlic powder, salt, pepper, oregano leaves, basil leaves, cauliflower, grated Parmesan cheese, marinara sauce, and then when it's at the end, we're gonna put 1.5 cups of reduced fat mozzarella cheese and another ounce of the pepperoni on the top to make it pretty. But you're gonna slow cook this for 4 to 6 hours. And then if you want, you can pour it into a pretty dish and put the pepperoni and the cheese on the top, or you could put the pepperoni cheese and let it just finish melting in here and serve it right out of your crock pot. Pretty simple and delicious. And what makes this work is I gotta have it to be easy. Gotta have it that way. I hope you have a great day and thanks for checking in with me today in my kitchen.